Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Raw Reaction series. This show in which we react to the latest, usually Arsenal news, and talk about it with the live chat and break it down and have a look at things in different ways. But a story broke today on the Daily Mail that I want to talk about, and it's not necessarily, it's not to do with Arsenal. It's about a Manchester United player called Marcus Rashford, and I'm not, just to set the scene, I'm not monetizing this video. It's not right that anyone earns money off this type of conversation. But I felt reading it, it's just made me angry, to be honest. Made me really disappointed. And yeah, coming from the perspective of someone that's now writing full time and sharing a space with plenty of people that have worked really hard to get to the places that they are and in the positions that they're at and the publications that they're at, it's really disheartening. It's a really disheartening part of the business, that there are people within it that will post this type of stuff. To give you some context as to what we're talking about, let me throw it up on the screen for you. This is a article on the Daily Mail about Marcus Rashford buying 5 houses worth more than £2 million. Now, why this is put next to the word campaigning, I don't know. I just don't understand why this is a story that they feel the necessity to run. And Andy Buckwell and Max Aitchison, I genuinely don't know what goes through their minds when they think that it's okay to do this. To give you some more context, let me just share you a story that was written about Phil Foden, which you should be able to see on your screen now. Manchester City starlet Phil Foden buys new £2 million home for his mum. Yeah, I mean, if you can't see the difference in the portrayal of these two stories, then you need to educate yourself a bit more. Because if you can't see what is going on, then you're blind to it. And I just want to talk a little bit about Marcus Rashford, actually, because Marcus Rashford is an example to a lot of people. Is an example to footballers everywhere. I was, as people know, watched the channel for a long time. I was a teacher and worked in a school, and I'm well aware of the problems that a lot of children face when it comes to the holidays. And dealing with let me break it down for you. There's a thing called free school meals, which is effectively if your household doesn't earn over a certain amount of money, then the government funds schools to provide free school meals for those students throughout term time. And as being a teacher, it's nice that I got quite a lot of time off. I believe it's around 13 weeks throughout the year. Time off. I still feel it's very well earned. Teaching is an exceptionally difficult job and it's a very hard job to do, and I have huge respect for plenty of full-time teachers that are in the classroom hours and hours and hours and hours a week. And the issue is that with the students is that when they're not at school during the holidays, is that the kids' families aren't getting that same provision. And so at my school, for instance, a lunch was £2.30. That was the value of a lunch. So if you think about that over a week, it's over 10 quid. If you think about that over the 13 weeks, that's £130. And that might not seem a lot to some people, but £10 extra provision of food for lunchtimes is a lot of money for some people. It is a lot of money to have to provide. And if you think about it, that's one kid. If you've got more than one kid, then that's even more. So what Marcus Rashford did in his campaigning to get the government to provide free school meals throughout the holidays was unbelievable. to get the response that it did was great, and seeing what Marcus Rashford was able to do, because there's kind of a stigma around footballers in general sometimes about the money that they earn. And yes, they're very privileged, but I always kind of look at footballers in a sense of, it's not their fault that they earn that much money. Like, they're in that business, they're good, they're gifted at the game, they trained, they worked with their talent and their gift into a business that earns a hell of a lot of money. It doesn't come down to someone else going, well, I work harder than Marcus Rashford does, I should earn more money. But ethically, maybe, morally, maybe, but ultimately, it's commercially, it just doesn't work that way in the world that we live in. And when a footballer who spends so much time campaigning and putting effort into trying to get these kids meals and provision so that they don't go hungry over the holidays and over really important family times like Christmas, to have a story put out like that on the Daily Mail it's despicable. Like, it's really upsetting. And I don't know, I was speaking in the WhatsApp group to some of the guys, whether or not it's like, it's really difficult obviously talking about this sort of thing, and being able to say things, but there's only one thing you have to say, and that the portrayal of black players in the media is negative in comparison to white players. It is. Like, you can see the evidence was right in front of you as you just saw it. It's not all publications. It wouldn't be fair to say that the whole of the media portrays black players in a negative way. That would be unfair. But there are publications that do. And it's just not right, really. Also, like, when we're quite, in a way, living in England, sometimes we're in a bit of a bubble. I think sometimes we look at football and racism and we think that it doesn't really happen in England. No, it happens in other parts of Europe. And we see it quite badly in Italy recently with Mario Balotelli got abused in Brescia, I believe it was, from his own fans, I think it was. And you think that, it doesn't really happen, but it does. I mean, we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen. And I hope, if you are a viewer and you go to games and if you saw racism happening, I hope, like I would, that you would do something about it, that you would say something, that you would report it. I hope that you would do that. So yeah, it does happen in the UK. And what I want you to do is, as evidence, just to prove to you that racism exists in England quite significantly, is I want you to go onto Twitter or right now if you want to. I want you to jump onto Twitter and I want you to go onto Sainsbury's. Now, if you're not in the UK, Sainsbury's is a supermarket brand. I don't think it's outside of the UK. I'm pretty sure it's not. If you go onto Sainsbury's Twitter account, SAINSBURY''S, and their pinned tweet is their new Christmas advert. And I'm going to ask you to have a watch of that Christmas advert, and I'm going to want you to scroll through the replies to that Christmas advert. And then someone can turn around and tell me that racism does not exist in the UK. It's a fantastic advert. I really love it. It makes your heart melt a little bit watching it, actually. And I put something on Twitter the other day, because football can be used for good in so many ways. Marcus Rashford is a great example of that. Raheem Sterling and what he's done in the media as well, it's been fantastic too, and he called them out on it, and fair play to him. And actually, Marcus Rashford did tweet out today as well. Let's just throw that up on the screen for you so you can see it. Twitter, here we go, share. So yeah, it's annoying. So he goes, okay, let's address this. I'm 23, I came from little, I need to protect not just my future, but my family too. To do that, I made the decision at the beginning of 2020 to start investing more in property. Please don't run stories alongside references to campaigning. who cares what Marcus Rashford does with his money? It's his money. He's earned his money. He's in the industry. He's very privileged. He's very, very lucky. And he should be able to spend his money on whatever he likes without any scrutiny at all. It's a person's private life, and they should be enabled to just carry on with it as and when. So it's just really frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. And it exists, and I'm hoping that people that view this channel do something about it whenever they can. This is me making more people aware of it, using my platform to do so. And if you're watching this and you're ignorant to that fact, I don't want you here. Like, you can unsubscribe. I don't want to subscribe that is fine with things like this happening. I don't want you. You can go. Do not care about your existence if you think what the Daily Mail has done is absolutely okay. So yeah, and don't leave a comment. Don't even bother, because I'll just block you. But if you want to leave a comment in support of Marcus Rashford, fair play to you. Fair play to you. So yeah, it's really, really, yeah, and yeah. It's difficult to talk about things like this sometimes, to phrase it in the right way, and hopefully I have done that to the best of my ability. I feel like I've just made you aware of what's happened. But yeah, biggest tip I can give you: go on the Sainsbury's Twitter account, look at their pinned tweet for their new Christmas advert, and have a scroll through the replies, and then turn around to me and tell me that you don't think that racism exists. So there you go. I'm not going to read through the comments. I apologize. I have been reading through some. I'm not going to put them up on the screen because I just kind of want to focus on what this was for today's show. So that was it. There isn't going to be a show the rest of the day talking about Arsenal. I don't want to associate the channel with anything Arsenal today. I just want it to be focused on this. To be honest, as I said, this video isn't going to be monetized. It's not right for anyone to earn money bringing this to light. So no. But yeah, what I would say is, as I said, do what I've said in terms of looking onto Twitter. Send some kind words Rashford's way, and congratulate him on the work that he's done, because it's fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant what he's done with the kids, and I hope more footballers of all backgrounds follow that example, because it's been brilliant. So yeah, fair play to him, and yeah, screw you, Daily Mail. Screw you.